Good evening, and welcome to another depressing episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now here is your host, the gloomy and joyless Voice of Doom. All right, thank you. Thank you. So, going outside this morning, there's a pall upon the land. Sky was brown, soot and ash floating through the air, the smell of 1,000 campfires engulfing the entire high Sierras. Appropriate. Watch birds trying to fly, which is their want, and all they could do was kind of hover in the oppressive atmosphere and then go back to the tree. It was depressing, and the day is depressing because people don't realize why it should be depressing, and I don't think people are taking things seriously, so I'm going to have to keep on ranting, which is my want. A little somber tone, because I don't like to see millions of people get killed, especially in hideous ways. And I don't think people understand what's happened in history and what people are capable of, especially when you give them a feeling of victory. Like you give them the idea that they're invincible because it was all too easy. It happened in 1939. I'm telling you, it's repeating this generational theory. Anybody who has half a brain would look up generational theory on the internet and see what it's about, and then do a little bit of research, because I know history a little bit. I would say I'm in the top probably 9 or 8% that kind of understand history and have studied it enough. Maybe higher, but the psychosocial part of history. I don't care how many tanks Stalin had in Leningrad. It doesn't, the mistakes are made by psychological idiocy, which is what we're seeing now. That's how catastrophes happen, not by how many tanks there were. Trying to explain why I had to keep on harping about what's going on, because I bet you anything everybody's going to just brush it under the rug, out of sight, out of mind. We got as many people out as we could, and now we're out a week from now. And I don't want to buy that, because I saw Killing Fields, and I've seen a lot of other movies. And life is not a movie, it's actually worse. So, El Salvador, there's all kinds of, once you give people free reign and you make them feel like, yeah, they prevailed over a huge, we're revolutionaries. We're like the Minutemen, because we have our little guns and our little turbans, and we beat the greatest military force that the world's ever seen, as far as we know. And it's disconcerting to me, because I have a feeling people are going to go back to the old subjects, and you can't. If they allow that to happen, then we're going to not live up to even the stupid, empty promises that are made by the UN and by Petri dish. And that's another subject. See if I can squeeze in all the rage in just the next 10 minutes, because to coin a phrase, people have to be held accountable, and they're not going to be, because what they've done is so bad that there's no way they would have the fortitude to own up to anything. Now, we better just pull off the clothes that the emperor was never wearing in the first place and say, come on. Everybody knows that Petri dish is not making these decisions. And somebody got it in their idea, and I'm sure they're a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout that are about 30 years old that think, if our guy can just end the war, we can say, we ended the war. We ended wars. And yeah, you don't just start saying get out now. I mean, it could be done a lot better, and I'll tell you how it would be done better. I'll tell you right now how I do it. And I could be high on mushrooms and pretty wasted, and I could do a better job than what I saw. The first thing I do, okay, I'm going to get all the troops out because they have to fight their own battles eventually, even though we caused the Civil War. And one of the opponents are the people we were supposed to oust for good, and we didn't. So now we have to negotiate with them and say we're going to be out. First thing you do is get rid of the, take the people, the civilians, and all the peripheral people, the interpreters, all those people get shipped out right away. That's the first thing you do. Then you start sending back, your computers and your really sensitive equipment and other things. And the third thing you do is when you train an army, you don't just say, okay, you're on your own now, bye. No. It's like solo flying. You don't just say, okay, you're going to do your solo test now, so go up in the plane by yourself. That's not how it works. You slowly wean them by just kind of tapering off the support and letting them fight their battles, and a little bit of help from America, and yeah, you can blow the living shit out of a bunch of people. But they don't really try that hard, because that would be an atrocity. Nothing like the atrocities coming, but that's what I would do. I would slowly wean them, just like raising a family, if you know how to do it. I mean, I should have been president because we wouldn't be in this mess. Believe me, we wouldn't. In fact, the world would be probably a utopia. But I'm kind of full of myself, and I think I know everything. But what I've said so far, I think makes sense. I don't think I've said one thing that anyone can dispute. But now I'm going to lose my train of thought getting into myself. We can't let it go. Because if you have a killing fields, they're going to shut down communications. People have to think ahead. These politicians are little kids. They're going door to door with their cookies or their car washes. They're not in the reality of a complicated freaking world. They don't even know what's going on with other countries. And they're chortling and wondering when they should make their move. I mean, they have pretty much a smorgasbord of options. And I know what I do, but I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want to give anybody an idea that he might go, yeah. But I know what I do. And I could think of a million things, so you people can't think about it and can't think about what could possibly happen, then you're living in a dream world. Now let's talk about why the hippies won. We have no war no more. Ain't gonna be no war no more. Everyone's gonna get along. War is over. War is not healthy for plants or flowers or whatever that poster said back in the 1969. Yeah, we've always been against war, especially since every war has been kind of based on the military-industrial complex and the perpetuation of war. And their karmic retribution will be harsh. I don't think we have to do it for them. We don't have to have a reign of terror, because who's going to be the people pulling the, cord on the scaffold, on the guillotine? They end up getting it in the end. People have to get wise and get smart. We got to change things, but we got to do it in a way that makes sense. Right now, it's going to go to a conflagration. We have no choice. We really have no choice, because if we continue going like we're going, we've seen the evidence of somebody whispering in some guy's ear saying, you're going to end war. You're going to be known as the president who ended this long 20-year war. Okay, go do whatever you have to do. That sounds good. That's all he's saying. And then they proceed to act like Girl Scouts and act like Boy Scouts with their car wash and do it all wrong. I mean, totally wrong. And we can't just talk about wrong in a sense like, oh, well, we made a mistake. I'm talking millions of lives being killed in gory, gruesome ways and torturing, and they're going to want to make examples to keep the rest of the populace in line. You guys don't get it. And I don't know why I have to say this. No one's going to watch it anyway. But it'll be found one day, and they'll go, man, we should have listened to him. It's really bad. America doesn't have to worry about being at war anymore because nobody's going to want us in their wars. I can't think of any sane country that would possibly invite America to support any of their strife, any of their confrontations, any of their border disputes, anything. Why would Israel want us as an ally if things got really bad? Or Japan or Australia or Taiwan. It's like, yeah, you come in here, build a bunch of bases, and then let the enemy come in and take them all and kill us. No, if we don't do something quick, I'm talking days. I'm talking a few hours. I mean, months or years. I'm talking days. We got to repair it somehow because we're going to create way more terrorists than we started with in the first place. It only took, I think it was like 15 people to take down 2 buildings and just, damage the Pentagon badly and almost do a third one, but kill a bunch of people. 15 people. We've created probably millions of terrorists by what we did because everybody feels betrayed. Do I have to say this? I'm just nobody. I got a freaking manufactured home. Why in the hell do I have to be the one to say, we better keep on it? Guys are gonna go back to your stupid ass issues. There's plenty of issues to deal with. We got to deal with credibility when the shit's gonna hit the fan, and we're not gonna be involved with it. Maybe that's a good thing, but I hate to say that we're in the penalty box and we can't be part of anything because nobody trusts us. We've been talking about America for 250 years, the great ideals. And now the government really fucked up. They better own up to it, and if they don't, we better do something about it. And I mean send civilians over and maybe mercenary types to make sure it doesn't happen because it's going to happen. So, I mean, it's not going to be done with diplomacy. Forget that. These guys think, just imagine if it was you. We just, to their mind, we vanquished, we overcame and prevailed over the greatest military apparatus ever devised in the history of mankind. So, they're kind of going to be full of themselves. You guys aren't going to get it, and they're not even the problem. I'm just worried about all those people. The problem is yet to come, and you'll see. It's going to happen fast, too. So I'm going to keep on diatribing because I'm going to be the one voice in the wilderness. And when I go on to my next lifetime, and this place is basically an asteroid belt, I'll say I tried. So that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. I think I said enough. I'm going to keep on ranting. I don't need notes. I can keep on ranting like this. I'm 30 more years. So that'll be easy. Okay, enjoy the night and think about what I said. Good night.